Shalom, Israel. This is Bishop Nathaniel. I want you to know that you can view all our Sabbath classes live on IUIC TV. That's right, I said on IUIC TV. Download the app today. Shalom.
We are the Israelites, based upon the prophecies. And as we was dealing with this sister, we let her know that these things were actually prophesied years ago, thousands of years ago by our forefather Moses. Right. So don't look at what the TV showed you as the movies and the Passions of Christ, and you will see what's the other one? The Commandments with Charles Heston. The Ten Commandments. You'll see this white guy and think that's Moses. No. Moses was a black man like you and I. That's right. Christ was a black man like you and I. Right. Those are our forefathers. This book is about us. Right. You see that? So the first thing that we must realize is this is our book, and we got to follow what's in the book. Right. So let's go back. Read that again for me, verse 48.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger, and in thirst, and in nakedness, and in want of all things.
Stop there. So the Bible says that our enemies, we must serve our enemies. Because we broke the laws that was written here as a people, God said, I'm going to send enemies against you, and you must serve them in thirst, in hunger, in nakedness, and in wants of all things. So now, when you ask yourself, the last thing that I drunk, where you get it from? Or the last thing that I ate, where'd you buy it from? What about?
The coin laundry?
Okay, so now, let's take that bottle right there for instance, right? That's Aquafina, right? Aquafina, right? Do your people own that? No. Let me ask you, do we own that right there, Aquafina? The last thing that you ate, name it. What's the last thing you ate?
Chicken wings.
Chicken wings. Where you get it from?
I don't know, my mama bought it, so, but somewhere from a restaurant.
Okay, a restaurant, right? Do we own those stores? We don't own nothing around here, do we? We got the Wayfield sitting right here. We all up in the Wayfield, but do that money go to us? No, it don't. We are in the land of our enemies, and we have no part in it. That's a curse. We look at it like it's normal now, but it's not normal. It's not normal for us to be having to serve. We got to go out there and work our butts off all week, and then give our money to another nation of people. God said, because you broke God's laws, you're going to have to serve your enemies. So these people that own these stores, guess what? Those are your enemies. You may not think that, but God said that those are your enemies. They are setting up in your hood, on your block, and they're sucking us dry. We have no businesses. We have nothing here set up for ourselves. Why? Because we break God's laws. That's the main reason. I know many of us, we tried several things. We tried to march. We tried the voting. We tried to go to school, but nothing works, do it? You want to know why? Because the solution is right here.
Bring it out.
It's not within those voting booths. It's not in the classrooms. It's right here.
Right.
God said that we got to do this. We're not doing it. The churches are supposed to be teaching us this, but the pastors are not. But we're here today to set everything back in order. That's what we're here to do. Read that again.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger, and in thirst, and in nakedness, and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck.
So now these enemies is very specific now. God is being very specific, saying like, if you don't realize it by the thirst, by the hunger, by the water, right, by the wants of all things, he said, listen, that same group of people are going to put yokes of iron upon your neck.
Right.
Who did that?
Bring it out.
These brothers right here, look close, look. It say, our enemy shall put yokes of iron upon our neck. Y'all see the yokes of iron? Who that happened to? To us, right? But it said that our enemies shall put those yokes around our neck. So who's that enemy? It's the white man. But guess what? That's the white man that's here. You know that we're scattered across the whole earth, right? So guess what? In China, we have Israelites who had yokes of iron put upon their necks. In Saudi Arabia, we had yokes of iron put around our necks. So it's not just the white man that's our enemy. All the nations are our enemies. It's just prevalent here because the white man is here.
Right.
But your people are in Africa, Asia, South America, Australia. We are scattered abroad, and we are all being oppressed
Right.
by these nations. Don't get it twisted. But what must we do now? Knowing this, what we got to do?
Follow the commandments and laws.
Follow God's law. All we got to do. Now read verse 68 for me.
68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
So with what?
With ships.
So remember, we explained earlier that in Egypt, this took place after we left Egypt. We was what in Egypt, sis?
Slaves.
We were slaves. Israelites were slaves in Egypt, right? So Moses took us out, and now he's reestablishing us as a nation of people.
Right.
But he warned us. He said, you're going to go into Egypt again if you break my laws, but this way by ships.
Bring it out.
But they did break the laws when he was, up there praying and stuff.
Yes,
They
we did.
still
Yes.
broke the laws.
Yes, we
which
did.
Made it worse.
Yes,
and
we
then
did.
Brought us back to this.
Exactly. So now, you said that we was in Egypt. What were we?
Slaves.
We were slaves, right?
But then we were free and then slaves again.
We were slaves, right? Yeah, right. So now, it said that this Egypt, go to Exodus chapter 20. Remember, our forefathers and foremothers, they walked from Egypt.
Right.
But God said that through this Egypt, we're going to get there by way of ships.
Bring it out.
So again, you said that in that Egypt, we were slaves, right? Read that real fast.
Exodus chapter 20 verse 2.
Bring it out.
I am the Lord thy God, which I brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage.
Out of the what?
The house of bondage.
So this Egypt means the house of bondage. So it's not necessarily a geographical sense, but it was our condition
Right.
as Israelites. We was bondmen and bondwomen. What's another name for bondmen, bondwomen? Y'all know? What's another name for it?
Bondage?
Bondage, which is what? Give me another name. You just said it earlier.
Captive? Slaves?
Slaves. So he's saying in Egypt, that is the house of slavery.
Right.
So read verse 68 again.
Verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
So the Lord is going to send the Israelites into a condition of slavery, but what? By way of what? Ships. Who this happened to? You seen that before? This happened to who? To us. What about the Chinese man? The Arab?
I do have a question though.
The African?
The Africans know, but how? So I know when it says because that's what the question I have from the Noah's sons, Japheth, Ham, and Shem. I do want to know how is the Hamites and the Shem are different, because in the Bible, Genesis, it was saying Shem's his people, they went to the Middle East, and then I guess we're supposed to be from Shem.
We are from Shem.
But
are
okay, so
Shemites.
they're from the Middle East, and then Hamites is in Africa.
Right?
That's what I'm trying to understand.
So let me get something clear, because maybe.
And does that mean the Palestine stuff? Is that like the? Because that's the Middle East. Is those our brothers that's happening to?
No.
Oh,
No.
okay.
Let's
That
get one thing
happening to
clear.
us.
Let's get one thing clear. Hamites are what we know today as Africans.
Bring it out.
Right.
We are Shemites.
Right.
We are not Africans.
Right. Bring it out.
Right.
We may have been in Africa, but we are not of those same people. We were scattered into Africa.
Right.
That's the confusion. Because we was there, we're thinking that we're Africans. We're not.
Bring it out.
Africans sold us into slavery
That's right.
to the white man.
Right.
I told
We're
her
not
to do
Africans.
that.
We are Israelites.
That's right.
We clear with that part, right? So now, right. So now, when you speak about, you say that Shem went to the Middle East, right? What's in that area today? We call it Middle East today, but what's in that area? What countries?
Saudi Arabia.
What else?
Assyria.
What else? One of the main areas that the Bible speaks about.
Israel.
Israel.
That's right.
That's our homeland. You do know that, right? That's our homeland.
Right.
So the people that over there right now are imposters.
Right.
That was our land that we were scattered from because, again, we broke God's laws.
Right.
As we can read, That was one of the other curses. But that's our land. So Shem was originally there in the Middle East, which is the land of Israel.
Right.
What those people are fighting for right now, the Palestinians and all that you see today, they're actually fighting for your land.
Bring it out.
While we're sitting there fighting for blocks, we're sitting there fighting for the hood, there's a whole war going on about your land.
Bring it up.
Israel or Egypt?
Israel, that's our land. Israel is our land. That's the motherland. That's the homeland that belongs to us. That's what God gave to us.
Right.
But because we broke God's laws, we are scattered all over the earth. Everywhere. Everywhere that you can see, we are there. You see that? So, we clear on that? Now, let's go back. You said verse 68 one more time.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen.
So it says there, in that particular land, in the land of your enemies, in the land of slavery, which Moses called Egypt, he said that you shall be sold as bondmen and bondwomen. So now, historically, once we got out of these slave ships, particularly in this land, what happened? What was the very next thing that happened? Once we got out these slave ships, we came in chains. What was the very next thing that happened? We was what? We were sold into slavery.
That's right.
This is in the Bible. This was prophesied thousands of years ago. And it came to pass only to our people. Meaning what? We are these people.
That's right.
God was very particular in this so we would know, because we had lost our identity. He said, I got to put this thing very plain for you. This is us. This history is found here. We are the Israelites. We are the chosen people. Blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans are God's people. But there's one thing that you must do as God's people. And what's that? Let me ask you, bro. What must you do now? Knowing that you are God's people, what must you do? Let me ask you this. What brought us here? We just said it. Why were we brought into slave ships? Why do we have yokes of iron put upon our neck? Why? We disobeyed what now? We disobeyed God's laws right here. The sister said it right here. We disobeyed God's laws. That's why we are dealing with the things that we're dealing with today. That's why we have we're stuck in the hood. That's why we're living paycheck to paycheck. That's why we're living off of welfare. That's why we're strung out on drugs. Because of what? Because we broke God's laws. And because we went into slavery, we began to degrade as a people. That's why we're stuck in the hood. That's why we niggas. Or we known as that. Because of this right here. Now, I know you kind of look you didn't like that word, did you?
No.
You don't like that word. Why?
Because when people say it, it's looked upon as a very derogatory word.
It does, right? So now, let me ask you something real fast. And I'm gonna switch gears. What does that word derive from?
I think it's negro, which means black.
Huh?
I think it's negro, which means black.
Which means black, right?
Yes.
So now, that word actually does mean black. It's derived from that. Yes, the white man has degraded us by using that word, but don't you know that word is found within the scriptures? Read that.
Acts chapter 13 and verse 1. Now there were in the church that was at Antioch certain prophets and teachers, as Barnabas and Simeon, that was called nigger.
That was called what?
Nigger.
Wait a minute. So we have prophets that was called nigger, which means black. That's all it means. So now, I pulled that to say that this book is full of black people. Black people. You understand that, right? The prophets were black. The Israelites are black. Christ is black. And the Most High God is black. Go to Revelation 1:14. That was Acts chapter 13, verse 1. Go to Revelation 1:14. Just to prove it to you.
Revelation chapter 1 and verse 14.
Bring it out.
His head and his hairs were white like wool.
So he's speaking about Jesus the Christ, right? This is talking about Christ. John the Revelator is seeing a vision of the Messiah, right? Read it again.
His head and his hairs were white like wool.
So his hairs and the hairs that was on top of his head were white like wool. What texture is wool? It's fluffy. Or what's another name? It's what?
Like Afro-like.
Afro-like, right? Which is, like you said, thick, rough, right? So when we see this, does this image have thick, rough hair?
No,
So why is this being plastered across the world?
because the white man did it.
The white man did it, right? So now that is against what the Bible says, right? Read it again.
His head and hairs were white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes were as a flame of fire, and his feet like unto fine brass.
So now he's looking at his feet, meaning Jesus the Christ's feet. It's like unto fine brass. What color is brass? Like a brownish color.
That's
so
right.
he's looking at the complexion of his feet, and he's saying it looks brown. This right here doesn't have brown hair or brown skin.
Right.
No woolly hair.
Right.
So now we're seeing this is a complete lie. Keep reading.
As if they burned in a furnace.
So now he said that brass actually looks like it's burnt. So when we have burnt brass, what color is that? It's black. So John Revelator is saying that Jesus the Christ's skin was very, very, very dark.
That's right.
With woolly hair. So now, why would you think that they would put this in the place of the true image of Christ?
Because they're white.
Okay, they're white, but what's the objective in doing so?
They want us to believe the white man is superior.
That's exactly what it is.
You know?
They don't want you to see that you are actually of Jesus the Christ.
Right.
They don't want you to see yourself as superior as you should be. They want you to look at yourself as you're beneath them. But now, you know better now, right? So now, again, why do we go into slavery?
Because we didn't follow God's rules.
We did not follow God's rules or God's laws, right? So now, once we realize, okay, we are the Israelites, we are of the lineage of the true Messiah, right? We are those people. Now we got to do something. Go to Deuteronomy 10.
Deuteronomy chapter 10 and verse 12. And now Israel, what does the Lord thy God require of thee?
So now, there's a requirement of the Israelites. Knowing that you are actually an Israelite and not an African American, you're not Latino, what they place upon you. Your true nationality is an Israelite, meaning that you come from Israel, which is the name of our forefather, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel.
Right.
We are the children of Israel, or Israelites.
Right.
You know,
But to fear the Lord thy God, to walk in all his ways, and to love him, and to serve the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul, to keep the commandments of the Lord.
so now our requirement is to keep God's laws. That's what's required of us. But because we broke it, this is what happened to us. It's prophesied within the scriptures. This actually happened to us, meaning that we need to follow what the Bible says. If that was prophesied, that means everything else must be true as well, right?
So at what point did we break the rules?
Bro, we broke the rules
On Mount Sinai.
back in Mount Sinai. You ever heard of Egypt, right? The Exodus. You heard of that? When Moses brought out the Israelites and he saved us from slavery. From that point, we began to sin. From that very point, when we became a nation, reestablished ourselves as a nation, we began to break God's laws from that point. You know, we are very hard-headed. We are very stubborn people. But God has given us a chance after chance after chance after chance to get it right. But guess what? This is the last chance.
That's right.
That's what you got to realize. This is the last chance. That's why we out here to try to urge you to keep God's laws again, because we see what happened when we break God's laws. But guess what? There's something that's going to happen that's even worse than that. It's called nuclear fire. Y'all know what that is? You know that World War III is going to happen? Y'all know that World War III is coming here? It's prophesied to happen here. Y'all realize that, right? And that's going to be the last hoorah. Meaning, if you don't get yourselves right before that time comes, all this will be burnt up.
Right.
The kingdoms will be reestablished, meaning that Christ will reign in the next kingdom to come.
That's right.
So it's not going to be all these different nations fighting for power. That's not going to happen. Christ is going to shut all this down.
Right.
This Messiah right here, the one that has black hair, that woolly hair with black skin, that is going to be the man that's going to be ruling over this earth. And it's your job, or it's your choice, to keep the commandments so you can reign with him.
Right.
If not, you're going to be put to death. Y'all see that? So now, remember we talked about you got to keep God's laws, right? Go to Deuteronomy 22 and verse 5. These are one of the laws that we got to keep as a people. Read that.
Deuteronomy chapter 22 and verse 5. The woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man.
So it said that the woman shall not wear what pertains to a man. Meaning, women should not dress as what?
Men.
As men. How are the women dressing as men today?
Wearing pants. We're supposed
Wearing
to wear dresses. We're supposed to wear dresses.
You're supposed to wear dresses. That's the dress code. If you look into a public restroom, how do you know which one to go into?
They got skirts and pants.
They have skirts and they have pants. Because that's what we did. That is the general rule, right? You will see somebody wearing a dress. Okay, that's obviously for women. Because why? Women are supposed to wear dresses.
Right.
That's right.
So why are we wearing pants today? It's because it started here. We lost our nationality. We lost our heritage when we got here. This is found here. We read earlier that our heritage is found in the scriptures. Our rules, our laws are found in the scriptures. So once we got here, we lost all of that. Now we start living as our oppressor, our slave master. The slave master said, oh, it's okay for us, for women to wear pants,
Bring it out.
for men to wear dresses. It's okay. But God said, no, that's what brought you here. So now it's your duty to come back here, because we just said what was required of an Israelite is to keep these commandments. Let's read it again.
The woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man.
So this is a law. This is not a suggestion. This is not something that's voluntary. That's voluntary. This is something that you must do. It is a requirement. Read on.
Neither shall a man put on a woman's garments.
So a man should not be wearing a dress. Men should not wear dresses. Women should not be wearing pants. Right? Read on.
For all that do so are abomination unto the Lord thy God.
What does the word abomination mean? Because I know that's like the older word that we don't really use nowadays. What does abomination mean?
A disgrace.
Something that's what?
A disgrace.
It is a disgrace, yes. It is a disgrace. It's something that what?
Embarrassing.
Embarrassing. Okay, what else?
Shameful.
It is shameful, meaning God hates when he sees his daughters dressing as men. And he hates when he sees his men dressing as women.
Right.
But why do you think that? What's the psychological effect of women wearing pants? Or if there any at all? Is there some type of effect that may happen psychologically?
Want to have masculine. I want to act masculine.
Yes.
Bring it on.
That's exactly right. Because if you look at a man wearing a dress, what's your first thought?
They want to act feminine.
Oh, but he gay. Right? Right? Right, you see that? That's just the general idea. If you see a man walking up and down these streets with a dress on, he got to be gay. He got to be dealing with other men, right? But why don't we think that with women wearing pants? Believe me, it is once a woman put on pants, it puts on a masculine spirit.
That's right.
You know that, right? And what do I mean by that? That it puts on a masculine spirit. Give me 1 Corinthians 11.
1 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 11.
Verse 3.
Verse 3. But I will have you know that the head of every man is Christ.
It said that the head of every man is Christ. So Christ is actually somebody else real. Right? He actually existed and he still exists today. That's our head as men. As Israelite men, that's who we report to. That's our head. That's our leader. Read on.
And the head of the woman is the man.
So now, in the same idea, your leader is the man of Israel. When you get married, are you married? You got a boyfriend? So now, do you want to have get married? You got a shrug like, I don't know.
I do.
You do? So now,
It just gotta be right.
and I do agree with that. So now, once you get married, what is your role in that marriage?
Well, I would want to say to submit to the man.
You would want to say that? Or do you believe that?
Yeah, I do believe that.
Okay, read that again for me.
But I will have you know that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of the woman is the man.
So the head of the woman, particularly in marriage, is who?
The man.
The man. The man. The man. So you married? You got a girl?
Yeah.
So now, you know that, okay, let me ask you. Why you not why you not married to her?
Because most of my girls who I meet are masculine. They
Okay,
black.
okay, so they're masculine.
Yeah.
So you meet them, they are masculine, so you don't want to deal with them.
I don't want to marry them.
Okay, now look. You got to stop right there. You don't want to marry him, so what you want to do?
I mean, I just carry on as going as I go until I meet the right person that I
Okay, so what are you doing during that time frame? Like, when you say that you don't want to marry him, but you're still dealing with him, what you doing?
Fornicating.
You're fornicating. Now, you know that's against God's law, right?
Yeah.
You know that you're not supposed to be doing that, right?
Talk to him.
Go to Exodus 22 real fast. We got to hold that because it's something that we got to deal with. Because it's something that
At
we
least
always.
it's real,
No. But that's honesty, and we appreciate
we all
that.
do that.
Right.
This is how we got to change as a people, because that fornication leads to other stuff, right? It leads to single families, single parent households.
Right.
So if you lay with a sister and you have a baby, but you say she's too massive for me, now that child is without a father.
Not necessarily.
Well,
Because that's the reason I'm still there.
but look, okay, but look, most of the people, most of the brothers,
Yeah,
they gone.
Yeah, for sure.
They'll probably spend some child support,
Right.
but these children need more than money. They need presents.
Yes.
You see that? They need to see how a man should operate.
Talk to him.
That's what a father do. A father is just not a bank account, but it's actually an influence. So that's why when we deal with a certain person, you got to make sure that that's the person that you want to deal with for the rest of your life. Why? Because God said that there's no fornication.
Right. Exodus chapter 22 and verse 16.
Bring it out.
And if a man entice a maid that is not betrothed and lie with her, he shall surely endow her to be his wife.
You see that? So that's a law of God. Go to Hebrews chapter 13 real fast. It's for you, bro. Hebrews chapter 13 and verse 4.
Hebrews chapter 13 and verse 4.
Bring it out.
Marriage is honorable.
Oh, no. Jump offs, baby mamas,
Marriage is honorable.
girlfriend and boyfriend.
Marriage is honorable.
There is no term of girlfriend, boyfriend, baby mama, jump off, sneaky link. That's not in the scripture. They say that marriage is honorable. Read on.
Marriage is honorable in all, and the bad undefiled. But whoremongers and adulterers, God will judge.
So now, if you decide to jump off and just go from woman to woman, oh, I don't like this one, let me move on. Oh, okay, I hit that, but I don't really like her like that because she's too masculine. God said that is a whoremonger. Meaning that you indulge in whorish ways, meaning that you like to hit.
Right.
God said that you will be judged. Whether that's through STDs,
Right.
whether that's through violence because somebody else is jealous of you dealing with that sister.
Right.
We see it all the time. But guess what? That's God's judgment. God is judging you for not doing what he said to do.
Right.
What is a nation? Nation is men leading by example. Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is children with role models. Nation is unity. Nation is you.
And finally, my brothers, be strong.